Are you at the place that you feel overwhelmed? Maybe you've got a big project, maybe you've got a big thing, maybe you've got just this next year, 2024, that is looming in front of you, and you just feel overwhelmed. How is this actually going to happen? How are you going to get through this? I want to bring up just a small concept today about talking about the small power of daily actions. When you start to take daily actions, you start to slowly build in trust with yourself, trust of you actually growing, developing who you're actually called to be. The thing is, the majority of the time, we tend to look at these big things and we're like, hey, that's way too big. It's way too overwhelming. It's way too hard for me to actually be able to grow, for me to actually do the thing that I need to do. But when we start to break it down into a small little step by step process, you can move towards a larger goal on a consistent basis. How many of you have seen and had this big goal, and as a result, you've just been like, that's too much. Can't do it. You've walked away from it. You haven't actually gone after the thing that you want. Like it might be you're scared to even go after the thing that you want. And so as a result, you kind of pull back because you're like, that's too hard. That's too scary. I don't know if I can actually do that. Like you need to understand when you start to build in small things, they change the rest of your trajectory of like who you're actually trying to be, of how you're actually showing up. Some of you are like, how do I get back my confidence? Let's work on repetition of how you're actually showing up for you on a day-to-day basis. You see, small daily actions are the building blocks to success. They help break down these complex, these overwhelming, these big things in your life to small, manageable pieces. Right now, you're like, hey, I don't even know how to heal from everything that I've gone through. I don't even know how to even understand what's actually true. What if we broke it down in such small steps that you're able to start looking at you investing into you, like you growing you, but in small, manageable chunks? Now, this is the part when people start stepping into the healing world. They're like, hey, I want to get better. I want to get healed. I want to work on myself, but then they don't do it consistently. Consistency is key. You actually showing up for you on a day-to-day basis. So, like, oftentimes when we're first talking to survivors and we're trying to help them move to thrivers, we're like, hey, let's help you build a consistency in your schedule. Are you going to do what you say you're going to do? Are you going to wake up when you say you're going to wake up? Are you going to work out when you say you're going to work out? You can eat what you say you're going to eat. These small things, even though these are very, very tiny and small, you're like, that's ridiculous. It helps you build trust with you. You see, it's so hard for you to go from 0 to 60. But if you go to 0 to 1, and then from 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 3, there's momentum that starts to build. The problem is most people look at it and they're like, that is way too slow. They're like, there's no reason of why I should actually do that. It seems way too slow. I'll just wait till I have the energy and I'll go to 60, just like that. The problem is it doesn't work that way. You have to start developing daily habits that are actually helping you move forward. When you do this, it starts to address and reduce some of the stress that's actually on your life right now. You might be stressed out because you've set these goals. You might be stressed out because 2024, you want it to be better than ever. You want it to be better than this past year. You want to plan it out and actually say, hey, I know who I want to be. Let's make this happen. But then you get overwhelmed by the big goals. So when you focus on doing these small steps, it starts to minimize the anxiety that you're going to have from tackling everything all at once. This is why even working with us inside of Raw Motivations, we're not like, hey, go no contact. That's not going to help you. But let's understand the narcissist. Let's understand you. Let's understand the truth. Let's understand all these little things. Like just moving forward, small steps to help you become the person that you're going to be. Now, when you have these small steps, what it actually does is it starts to trick your brain into this confidence piece because you're showing up consistently, you're showing up with repetition, and it boosts your confidence. Because you see these small victories and you're like, hey, this is amazing. I just did what I said I was going to do, and it helps keep you moving forward. So I need you to understand that small daily tasks, small daily actions cascade the whole broad scope of everything into it being in ease, being it something to help you move forward on a day-to-day basis. So in other words, like taking consistent steps consistently every single day can make the biggest, the most challenging tasks feel manageable and ultimately lead to your success. Now, how do we actually break this down for you? Breaking it down to a place of how you're going to show up for you every single day. So I want you to consider this in a couple different ways. The first one is how you're showing up for you physically, of what you're actually doing on a day-to-day basis. Are you working out? Are you moving your body? Are you creating energy with yourself? If you're not, then you start looking at it and you're like, okay, this is something that is not really going to help me. But the problem is you will run out of energy if you're not investing energy. So you need to be actually looking at, how am I investing energy into my body? How am I moving my body? Maybe this is getting up and going for a walk. Maybe this is going for a workout, whatever it might be. But how am I actually engaging with this on a daily basis? Then that's the busy piece, right? That gets you moving, gets your blood pumping. Then you have the piece of the spiritual connection. How are you actually connecting with God today? That could be through devotions, that could be reading, that could be prayer. How are you actually sitting in silence for a moment to be able to listen to the things you're not hearing right here, right now? Like, how are you getting quiet? We live in a world of noise and hustle and bustle and everything that's going on. Christmas season, especially, super crazy, right? Traffic's insane. How are you taking a moment to pause? Because you will get addicted to busy, and busy won't make you heal. Busy won't help you move forward. But being able to sit back and be able to say, hey, let me actually get connected. That's a whole nother one. That's number 2. Number 3 is about your relationships. What are you doing daily to invest in relationships? Now, I'm not talking about the toxic person. We're like, forget that, move on, focus on you. Don't focus on the toxic person. How are you investing in healthy, positive relationships? Maybe this is friends, maybe this is family. Maybe you're on the healing process and you're investing in a new relationship. What can you do on a daily basis just to make a small deposit in the next person? A small deposit in your kids. Maybe that's 5 minutes. Maybe that's a note. Maybe that's a text. What does it look like for you? Small deposits. And you do this every single day. It starts to build and it starts to change your perspective of that person. Again, not talking about the toxic person. The 4th thing is like, how are you actually learning about yourself? What are you actually doing on a day-to-day basis to help you grow and develop you? Because if you're not doing something, you're typically going to be stagnant, or you're typically going to start sliding back towards toxicity. So when we talk about these small daily tasks, what I'm talking to you about is, hey, are you moving your body? Are you connecting spiritually? Are you being silent? Are you actually investing in other people? Not this huge investment, just a small, tiny thing. And are you actually working on you? Now, all of that is so broad. I didn't give you a specific of, you must work out this way, you must do this. I didn't tell you. I just gave you a broad thing. Now, if you start doing that every single day, imagine who you would be. Imagine who you would become if you did something consistently every single day. People that do stuff consistently every single day become experts at doing it. You're probably really great at tying your shoe. If you've done it 1,000 times, you're probably really great at it. Why? Because in doing this, you have done a repetition over and over and over again that builds your confidence level, that helps you move forward and helps you grow. Now, you add this to every other aspect of your life, you're going to see progress, but it has to come down to the little actions. How many of you right now feel overwhelmed with the daunting task that's coming up in your life? Maybe it's just 2024. Maybe it's the relationship that you're in. Maybe it's the decisions that you need to make. If you're at that place and you want help moving forward with this, let us help you actually break it down into small, bite-sized, manageable chunks. Let us help you process and work through the things you're going through to help you be the person that you're called to be. If I can be of any help, shoot me a message. You can DM me. Just DM me the word break free. Would love to be able to talk to you of how we actually help people do this. Move forward in small repetition to give you this consistency that builds up your confidence, establishes clarity, and helps you move forward into who you're called to be. You have a blessed and wonderful day.